Okay, standard 7. Everybody takes this on the final, okay? Systems of equations, okay? When the subs are talking about systems, you're finding where the points intersect, okay? You have a system. You have two equations and two variables. Okay, one way to solve it's by graphing. Okay, this is in slope-intercept because you have m and b, y over here without anything, and then over here you have m, b. Okay, so both of those are in slope-intercept form. And I'm graphing them both here. I'm not using this graph to do anything. That's just the way my copy machine's formatted. Okay, so the slope's -1. That's an integer, so put a 1 under it. And then +4 would be the y-intercept. Okay, so I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from there I go down 1, right 1. So down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. And then you make a straight line out of it. Okay, I'm going to set my thing up. Okay, so I make my line. I have to set the camera while I make my line. Okay, so there's everywhere on that line you have y equals -1x plus 4. You don't need to write this. This is me just showing every point on this line y is equal to -1x plus 4. Okay, now I graph the other one. M is 2, so it'd be 2 over 1, and then -5 is the y-intercept. Okay, so I go down 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. Okay, then I connect those, and there's one point that's on both of these lines, okay? Well, I did a terrible job of graphing that point, okay? One point on both of these lines, okay? To be honest with you, it looks like mine intersect right about here. So x should be at 1, 2, 3. So 3. And then we're up 1. So x3, y1. Okay? That's actually the right answer. If yours is a little off, just put where you think it is, okay? Okay, but we have much more efficient ways to solve systems of equations, okay? Now look at these two equations. We're going to use different methods for different. Okay, we're finding where the x and the y intercept in both of these problems. Or not where they cross, but we're not going to graph them. Okay, now look at the first system here. You got two equations. Are you able to find an x or a y that's all by itself, that has no operations with it? Yes, I am, right here, okay? So in this system, I'm going to be using the substitution method to solve it. If you just want to put sub method, great. Okay, so substitution method, you identify the letter by itself. That's called your base variable, making this the base equation. So I box it up, circle the other side. Now, this is called my off-base equation. I'm going to write that over here. So 1.5x minus 2.5y equals 22. Now, a couple things you want to do after you write your off-base. You want to make sure both your variables have coefficients, 1.5 and 2.5. They do. And also make sure you switch any minuses to plus negative. So plus negative. Okay, now what's the letter you have by itself? X. X is coming out of this equation here. So replace that. 1.5 parentheses. And then remember to add the -2.5y before you equal it to 22. Now make that parentheses wider because you need to put y plus 10, not just a letter. So a value, 1.5 parentheses. Don't forget to add your -2.5y behind your parentheses. A lot of people forget that before you put equals 22. So you put y, 1y plus 10. Now I can solve for y. I distribute. 1.5 times 1y is 1.5y. 1.5 times 10 is 15. Then I add -2.5y before I equal 22. Now, you have y's, they're on the same side of the equation. So if they're on the same side, you just simply add them as they are. Okay? So I take 1.5 plus negative 2.5, and it's negative 1 whole. So negative 1y plus our 15 equals 22. And then it's pretty well academic from there. I subtract 15. So negative 1y equals 7 before dividing by negative 1. Okay? And y is going to equal then negative 7. Now that's your y answer. Okay, now to find your x answer in the system, go to your base equation. Because x equals y plus 10, well, we have y. So x is negative 7 plus 10. Negative 7 plus 10 is 3. Okay? There's your solution to the system, 3 and negative 7. Okay, my next problem. X plus y equals negative 3 in the first equation of the system, and then 5x plus 7y equals negative 9. That's the second equation of the system. Now here I don't have a base because that x has a plus with it. That's got x and y have operations here, and they obviously have operations here. So I have to use what's known as the elimination method. So with elimination, you're going to try to add the equations in the system together to hopefully get 0 for one of my variables. So 1, 1. Okay, 1 plus 5 is not 0. 1 plus 7 is not 0. And I don't have the same number in front either. Okay, so I need to multiply times, boom, 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 boom. So let's work on the x's. I have 5 here, so I'm going to multiply the top equation in the system by 5 and the bottom by 1. And then I'm going to rewrite those equations over here. So 1x times 5 is 5x, 1y times 5 is 5y, and then negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Okay, and the bottom just remains the same because that's the identity property of multiplication, meaning you're just multiplying it by 1, so the product stays the same. Okay, now if you try to add them again, I know 5 plus 5 is not 0. So what I do is make the 5's into opposites by simply changing the signs on every term in one of the equations. Down here will work, so that's negative. The 7's negative, it's positive, now it goes into a negative, and then the negative 9 goes now into a positive 9. And then if I add 5 to negative 5, that's 0. Okay? And then I add 5 to negative 7, that gives me negative 2y. And then I add negative 15 to positive 9, that's negative 6. Okay? So I divide by negative 2, and y equals 3. Okay? Okay, now to get the x, you got to do a little bit more work than you did up here on substitution. Just write the first equation you had, 1x plus 1y equals negative 3. Now, I already have my solution for y, so y is out, and instead of 1y, it's now 1 times 3. Well, that's 3. So 1x plus 3 equals negative 3. Subtract 3. Negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6. You don't really need to divide by 1. I mean, you can, but it's still negative 6. Okay, now some problem solving. Darlene is making a quilt that has alternating stripes of regular quilting fabric and satin fabric. She spends $76 on 16 total yards of fabric. The satin fabric costs $6 per yard, while the quilting fabric costs $4 per yard. How many yards of each type of fabric were purchased? Okay, so we have 3 units that are key to me solving the problem, the satin and regular, and then the dollars. So you have together, and you can put quilting, you can just put a Q if you want, and satin. Okay, then how many, and then per and total. Okay, so you're going to put money signs. Now give me a total cost first. You have $76, so put 76 and then eliminate that from the paragraph. I don't want to see that anymore. We already know what that is. Okay, how many is non-money? Okay, it can't be a money amount. 16, but it's not quilting or satin, it's together. Okay, and I'll figure out these here in a second. But right now 16 is all I can put up there. I get rid of that and find me some money amounts. Okay, so the satin is $6 per yard, and the quilting is $4 per yard. Well, I need some variables here, okay? Now they're different. They cost different. You're buying different amounts, so they have to be two different variables, x and y. Then I take x times 4, 4x, y times 6, 6y. And because I have two different variables, we need to create a system, okay? So my first equation is x plus y equals 16. And my second one is going to be 4x plus 6y equals 76. So again, you have to use the elimination method to solve because you have operations with x and y in both equations. So adding them here is not going to work because that's 5 and that's 7, and they don't have identical values in either one. So I take the 4 and multiply the top by 4. And then the bottom by 1. So 1x times 4 is 4x, 1y times 4 is 4y, and then 16 times 4 is 64. Now in the bottom you got 4x plus 6y equals 76. Alright, now time to add again, but 4 plus 4 is not 8. It's not 0, it's 8. But I can fix that problem by making it negative, the 6 negative, and the 76 negative. Okay, 4 plus negative 4 is 0. 4 plus negative 6 is negative 2, so it's negative 2y. 64 plus negative 76 is negative 12. Okay, then we divide both sides of the equation by negative 2, and I come up with 6. So that's my y. Y is under satin, so 6 yards of satin fabric. Now, I understand how you can get the other one very quickly. You have to realize it yourself, though. You could also take this 1x plus 1y equals 16. And since I have the solution for y already, instead of 1y, it's 1 times 6, which is 6. So 1x plus 6 equals 16 minus your 6. You get 10. You don't need to divide 10 by 1. That'd still be 10. So 10 and 6. Okay, next one. A concession stand offers 2 different soft drink specials. One special has 3 large drinks and 2 medium drinks for $15. The other has 2 large drinks and 3 medium drinks for $13.75. Find the individual cost of each size drink. So again, that's 3 units of measurement. So you got together. And then you got the large and mediums. Then how many, then per, and total. So you got dollars per, dollars total. Okay, now your total cost together, you actually have 2 of them because you got one that has $15 total and the other with a $13.75 total. Now you keep those separate, okay? Now please get me some non-money amounts. Well, you got 3 large, so 3. Now, if you have 2 here, every other box is going to have 2 things, okay? So 2 medium, get rid of those. And then the other total contained 2 large and 3 medium. So remember, 2 totals means I should have 2 totals. I don't need this if I know them individually. Don't need this, and I really have nothing else, but I still have to use x and y. So x and x, because they both can be x here, and then y and y. So then I take 3x and 2x and put those down here across from their totals, and then 2y and 3y. So I need to make a system, okay, because I have x and y. So I have 3x plus 2y equals 15, and then I have 2x plus 3y equals 13.75. So again, adding them right here doesn't help me. I have 2, so I multiply the top by 2. 3, I multiply the bottom by 3. Okay, so my new top equation is now 6x plus 4y equals 30. You multiply all 3 of them by 2, and then the bottom is 6x plus 9y. Then I take 13.75 times 3, and that's 41.25. Now again, we need these 6's to be opposite, because that's when they add to 0. Okay, so I go negative, 9 and become negative, and 41.25 is negative. So now those are gone. And I take 4 and add a negative 9 to it, so negative 5y. I take 30 and add a negative 41.25, and I get negative 11.25. And then divide by negative 5. So I take negative 11.25 divided by negative 5, I get 2.25. But that's okay that I got a decimal because we're finding cost. So y is here, and that's medium. So your cost of a medium is $2.25. Now really in this, you have to use one of the two original equations to get your second answer. You know you have 3x plus 2y equals 15. And I already have the solution for y. It's 2.25. So now I will be taking the 2.25 times 2, and that's 4.5. So I have 3x plus 4.5 equals 15. Now I subtract 4.5 from both sides. Okay, and I take 15 minus 4.5. That gives me a 10.5. Then I divide by 3. And 10.5 divided by 3 is 3.5. So that would be $3.50. Okay, now these get a little quicker. Not easier, but they do go quicker, these last couple, because I'm not going to use a system. You'll see why. During a football game, the parents of a football player sell pretzels and popcorn to raise money for new uniforms. They charge $2.50 for a bag of popcorn and $2 for a pretzel. The parents collect $336. They're going to sell twice as many bags of popcorn as pretzels. How many bags of popcorns do they sell? How many pretzels do they sell? So you see that? So that's going to be 3 units. So you've got the pretzels, the popcorn, and then together. And then we have how many per and total. Okay, so my total money amount's $336. We know that much. Okay, now as far as non-money numbers, well, I see 2 twice, okay? Twice, when I don't know two things, but I know twice, we use 2x and x, so that's a slash. So the bags of popcorn would be 2x because you sold twice more, and then x is this, and then I have no need for this. If I'm able to write those as a relationship separately, then I don't need that. Okay, money amounts, $2.50 for the popcorn, so 2.50, and then 2 for the pretzels. So x times 2 would be 2x. Now, I don't distribute here. All I do is take 2 times 2.50, and I just put x behind my product. So it'd be 5. And then if one of the factors has x, you connect x to the product. Now, you don't need a system. You just write a straight line equation in one variable. 2x plus 5x equals 336. Add your x's to get 7x. Divide by 7, and x is 48. Now here's where the x is at by itself. So that's your pretzels, so 48 pretzels. And then remember, you know that's 48. You know this is 2 times x, but we know x is 48. So 48 times 2 is 96. Just times by 2 to find the other value. Okay, now the next one's going to be a little different. Okay, remember twice is 2x and x. Snack bar sells small and large snack packs. There are 20 large snack packs and 40 small snack packs sold. The bar raised $220. If the large costs $2 more than the small, what is the cost of each size snack pack? So that's 3 units. Okay. Okay, so we got together, and we got the large and the small, and then how many, then per and total. So money per, money total. Okay, so we know our total cost is $220. Okay, how many? That's non-money amounts. So I see 20, obviously. 20 large. and 40 small. Don't need that. You can put 60, but it's not going to help you. Okay. Now, money amounts, I see $2 more. Now, that's different than twice. More is x plus 2 slash x. So x plus 2 is going to be the large, and since I have a plus operator, I need to put a parentheses around that, okay? And then an x here. So we know that's 40x, and then over here with that parentheses and the plus, you need to do a distribution of 20 to each term. So 20 times x is 20x, that's sure, but 20 times 2 then is 40. And on the bottom, I just can write a straight line equation. I have only x. I don't have y, so I don't need to make a system. You have 20x plus 40 plus 40x equals 220. Okay, the x's are on the same side, so add. That takes you to 60x plus 40 equals 220. Minus 40, so 60x equals 180. And then divide by 60. And x is 3. Now, if you don't know which answer is the 3, go find your x where it's all by itself. And what column is that under? Small. So the cost of a small is $3. And then the other one is 3 plus 2, which is 5.